I want to talk about persistence. I went to a meeting this morning. A friend of mine is starting a new group. It's going to be like 12 people. It meets for 2 years. It meets once a week from 6 in the morning to 8 in the morning. I did this about 3 years ago, and he's getting ready to start a new group. So he asked me and another guy to come in and talk about our experience in the group and just share with the guys who are considering it this time. And there were probably 6 or 7 people there, maybe 4 or 5 of them will sign up. And it's a big commitment. There's financial commitment, there's a huge time commitment. And to fill 10 spots around the table takes a pretty good investment of time and energy to recruit those people in. It's not a simple ask and they say yes or no and you go to the next person. I remember when I was being recruited into the group, I was pursued. I got the call, then I was invited to a kind of breakfast to learn more about it, and then I got a call after, and then a friend of mine called me and said, hey, are you gonna do this thing? I think you should. It was a process, and I've learned more about that process firsthand recently with an event that we're hosting tonight. A couple of months ago, a friend of mine who's another business owner, he shared this video with me, and it was these 2 guys talking, and I won't go into the specifics of it, but we started talking. I'm like, that was really good. I got a lot out of that talk. And he said, well, you know, that one of the guys who wrote this book, that he doesn't live that far away. He's like 2 hours away in Orlando. Long story short, we brought this guy over. We hosted an event for about 15 business owners, lunchtime event. He spoke, went over really well, and we said that went so well, let's bring him back and do a much larger event. So tonight we're doing an event for a little less than 100 people, and we both committed to, kind of tap our network and get people there and help fund it and all that stuff. And, I sent the first invitation out, I got a couple responses back, sent the second invitation out, sent the third invitation out, started calling people. My assistant started calling people. We wound up getting about 50 people to come to this from our side of the house, and it'd be about that many from the other business owner. But it was not automatic. Like, we pursued these people over and over and over again to get them to this event because we believe it's really good for them. We believe it's going to be awesome. We believe that they really need to hear what's going to be said. When you're working with your clients and you're trying to get them to do stuff, or when you're trying to start something new, the secret ingredient is always persistence, all the time. I heard this story one time about a successful sales guy, and the owners of the company came to him and they said, you're the most successful salesperson we have. Would you mind sitting down with some of the new recruits, some of the younger sales staff, and teaching them the methods and the habits and the disciplines that you go through that have made you so successful? And he said, trust me, you do not want me to train your salespeople. They said, well, of course we do. You've got the best numbers of anybody in the company. We just want to know how you do it. And he goes, well, it's not, I don't think this is something that you want everybody else to do, because what I do is I call my customers every single week, and they don't always give me appointments. But when they do give me an appointment, I go to their office, I show up with our catalog, I turn it around, and I go to page 1 and I say, would you like to buy anything on this page? And if they say no, I turn the page. What about this page? Would you like to buy anything on this page? This page, this page. And I basically stay until they order something. I can teach that if you want me to. If you're like me, you look at some of your clients and you scratch your head because they're not the smartest, they're not the sharpest, they don't have the most capital, they don't have the most experience, but somehow, some way, they just manage to make it work. You look at these people and you use words like they've got the Midas touch, they're great entrepreneurs, they've got the gift of business, they've got street sense. When you dig a little bit deeper, a lot of times what you find is they have uncommon persistence. It's uncommon because most people won't do it. You won't do it, I won't do it, their competition won't do it. But all it is showing up every single day and doing the same things, but paying attention and doing them just a little bit different the next time to get a little bit different result. Always tweaking, always honing, always refining. but they show up and they actually do the work. A lot of us want to hone and refine, but we don't want to do the work to find out what it takes to hone and refine, or what we're supposed to be honing and refining. We just want to sit back with the whiteboard or the blank piece of paper and design the new thing. And that's the opposite of persistence. That's the ivory tower. That's about as far removed from execution as you can get. So what's the practical side of it? Like, what's in this for you, for your clients? How's it going to help you with your business? How's it going to help you help them with their business? The most important thing about persistence is to understand it's just a mental game. It's work. If you show up and you know you're going to have to do a ton of work, you show up in a much different way, and you show up ready to do the work, and a lot of times you're more successful. I heard somebody say the other day, like 99% of the people who start a marathon finish it, which I don't know if that's an accurate statistic, but it's probably way higher than you would think. People who've never run 26.2 miles before, the majority of them, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of them actually manage to finish the race. Why? Because they show up knowing they're about to run a 26.2 mile race and it's gonna suck, and they're ready for it. You show up at their house, ring the doorbell, and say, let's go for a 26.2 mile run today. 99% of them are not gonna be able to do it. They're not gonna wanna do it. Their head's not in the right place. Showing up is everything. And showing up with the right mindset means that you have a much greater chance of being successful. So here's how you help yourself, and here's how you help your clients. Just get your mind right. When I committed to get 40, 50, 60 people to this event, I knew it was gonna be a chore. I knew I was gonna have to enlist just about every resource. I was gonna have to send multiple emails. I was gonna have to make phone calls. I was gonna have to cajole people, remind people, push people. But if I believe it's worth doing, that's part number two, then I'm gonna do that kind of stuff. It's very hard to be persistent in something you don't believe in. So number one, understand that you're gonna have to bring the work, you're gonna have to do the work, you're gonna have to grind it out. But number two, if you don't believe it, then you're not gonna be able to make that commitment in the first place. Remind your clients when they're about to embark on this new business, this new marketing plan, this new strategic plan, when they're getting involved in execution, remind them this, you have to be persistent. Once is not gonna be enough. You're not gonna get immediate traction. You're not gonna get immediate adoption. People are gonna think you're crazy. People are gonna resist change. This is gonna be a long, hard slog. Get them to show up with the right mindset. I had a client just last week, we were talking about them getting people to marketing events and how they've had to cancel a few because they just didn't get the turnout. And I said, well, what was your plan? How did you let people know about this? We sent one 5,000 piece mailer. I said, that's not enough. You send the mailer, then you send a follow-up email, then you send a second follow-up email, then you start calling people, then you start calling people again, then you send another email, then you follow up with a Facebook reminder. I mean, you have to just go. You cannot stop. Persistence is something that you have to wake up every day, and if this is the goal that you have to do something every single day to move yourself closer to that goal, whether it's a master plan strategic goal, it's a life goal you have, or whether it's getting a certain number of people to a marketing event. Persistence is the one thing that most business people will not do. We look out there and we see these people who've accomplished way more than we have. We see these people and they're young and they're successful, and we think, how did they get such a head start? It wasn't rocket science. It was the fact that they showed up and they worked more on the same thing every single day until they got it. They got the formula down. And then they just repeated and repeated and repeated, and they did not stop, and they will not stop. And if you show me a client, you show me a business who's committed to just showing up and working on something every single day, I'll show you somebody who is going to be successful. Maybe not today, but a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, that success is gonna show up. When you're helping clients execute, you have to teach them how to be persistent. See you guys tomorrow. Shouldn't take a bite. Good grief. A couple. Something to drink.